So today we feel like reviewing with a very special guest, Narcotic Casserole.
No, not that one. This one.
How's it going, gentlemen? This is John here from Narcotic Casserole, and I am delighted to join you guys here on the Review and Brew.
And it isn't for the queasy, for the weak of heart. Well, you had better start for home while there's still time.
The film that I'm going to be submitting to you guys today, I featured on my series Rare Delicacies, and this film owns me. This film is from the great Brian De Palma, and it came from 1974, and it's a rock musical, and it's called Phantom of the Paradise.
This is the tragic tale of Winslow, a baleful-eyed musician who has written a composition of Faust and is determined to have his music heard by millions. Now, the producer of Death Records, one Swan, realizes that Winslow's music is perfect for his new venue, the Paradise. Winslow quickly realizes that Swan has little intention of crediting him for his work. Now, in order to get rid of Winslow, Swan has drugs planted on him.
But I'm innocent. Swan stole my music and framed me.
Winslow hears that the surf rockabilly group, the Juicy Fruits, will be performing his Faust at the Paradise. Winslow absolutely loses his bonkers and escapes from prison. He then blows them up, as well as a few innocent bystanders, and seeking further revenge, heads to Death Records, where he accidentally squishes his face and vocal cords in a record press, and becomes the Phantom of the Paradise.
This film had a lot of crazy things going on in it. What was your take?
When it was first handed to me, it was described as one part Phantom of the Opera, obviously, another part Faust, which when you get deep into it, yes, pretty obviously, but then you get Sucker Punch with little elements of The Portrait of Dorian Gray, and even a little soupçon of Edgar Allan Poe.
I can give you the power to create again. I can make you somebody. We're going to have to start all over again, Winslow, only this time working together instead of against each other.
It seems a little bit strange to me that a gentleman who has written a musical version of Faust, where a man signs a contract with the devil, then goes on to sign a contract
With the devil.
with the musical devil, right? Am I wrong here?
No, it's easy to see why, because he's so obsessed with getting Jessica Harper to sing his music that he would literally do anything.
Anything.
I mean, it's Jessica Harper.
I absolutely adore Jessica Harper. Most people love her for Suspiria. I love her for Shock Treatment. But even more so, she is incredible in here. She has two standout solo numbers, and both of them just bring the house down.
Swan realizes that Jessica Harper is perfect, but he's jealous of that perfection, so he goes back on his contract and tries to replace the lead role with
Beef.
What was that?
Everyone needs to encounter, they need to embrace the awe-inspiring brilliance of Beef.
He's the best part of the movie. Hands down. Now, Beef is great, but he can't dance. And I don't know if this is a thing from the 70s, but it seems like nobody can dance in this movie at all.
This movie operates on a higher wavelength. This is the kind of movie that you actually kind of fancy the notion of living in this sort of warped reality that it seems to take place in. On one side, it's hypnotic. On one side, it's intoxicating. On another side, completely, it's an absolute madhouse. The amazing thing is that it all comes together. It all fits. That's the strangest part of all. And a lot of it is conveyed beautifully through incredibly strong visual storytelling on De Palma's part. His camera work is incredible, and you've got to bear in mind, this is back during the times when cameras weighed a ton, and he is getting some incredible camera angles here. There's a standout scene where Swan is trying to choose his next big star, and the scene is executed where the camera is situated behind Swan as it sort of revolves, kind of like That 70s Show, as he's hand-picking the next star that he intends to sing Winslow's music.
Now, when you talk about this movie with other film buffs, some people say it's very similar to Rocky Horror Picture Show, and that's interesting because the Rocky Horror Picture Show play came out a year before this film, but the movie version of Rocky Horror came out a year after.
A lot of people prefer one over the other. Even Edgar Wright says that he prefers The Phantom over Rocky Horror, but I think there's a big enough difference between the two that you could appreciate them for different reasons. And I also think that there should be a whole nother subgenre of just glam rock movies, because these aren't the only two. You got movies like The Apple, which I definitely don't suggest watching, but there are other movies like it.
Yes, you can compare it to stuff like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah, you can compare it to even, say, Tommy. But this film stands on its own. I cannot stress how much everyone needs to see this movie, and I hope you guys feel the same way.
Anybody who is into film or music should totally give this a shot, if for no other reason than the sardonic outlook on the music industry.
Or not just even the music industry, just the entertainment industry in general. It's all there on the surface, but it's the way Brian De Palma directs his actors, the way all the performers take their characters to a sort of heightened level.
And Paul Williams, who plays Swan, carries his role and does a perfect job.
Paul Williams is an actor of considerable repute. Most people know him and love him as the voice of the Penguin from Batman the Animated Series. But the real claim to fame that this man has is his songwriting skills. He has written songs for the Carpenters, and many times has written some amazing songs for the Muppets. Yeah, he had a hand in the Rainbow Connection.
I gotta hand it to you, Casserole. I watched this film for the first time tonight, and you have converted me. This film, it's fantastic.
I've been a fan of this film for a long time.
Nerd.
I got the copy on Key Video.
Nerd.
But it's really just a classic story of vengeance.
But revenge is not a new concept. In fact, it is old-fashioned. This is Orchard's Edge, the old-fashioned, which is aged on cherries, orange peel, and bourbon barrels.
To Narcotic Casserole, cheers.
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 Tasty, Winslow. Tasty.
It has a very sweet apple aroma to it.
And that follows through with the taste. You definitely get a sweet cider with this. It's not dry at all. I get a lot of the orange.
I get a bit of the cherry on the back end, kind of like a sour cherry.
The bourbon is fairly muted, but it's definitely an interesting combination.
Always a pleasure to work with you guys, and for all the rest of you at home, if you want to see more very obscure titles on our show Rare Delicacies, tune in to Narcotic Casserole.
Thank you so much for working with us. This has been awesome, and thank you so much for recommending Phantom of the Paradise. I really like this film. Nerd. It's awesome.
And to all our viewers, definitely check out his channel. There will be a link at the end of this video and down in the description. So thanks for watching another episode of Review and Brew.
We'll catch you next time.
But I am stoned.